We got another game from back in the day. This one's between Zock and CrazedChariot, two very good players. We got CrazedChariot as UEF and Zock as Cybern. So it's a classic matchup. No Aeon, no Seraphim here. See, this map has a whole bunch of mass extractors. We got some civs in the middle, protected by T1 PDs, and quite a bit of mass. It is going to get pretty crazy. So we see Zock going first ground, second air with a few P-gens. Very similar for CrazedChariot, first ground, second air. You're really on a map this size, you gotta get air to see what the other players are doing. Just some raiding with mech marines, hunters, probably not enough. And I'll keep this zoomed out. I'll zoom in for maybe a little bit of micro, but we'll have multiple fights, different parts of the map. You can see an engineer from Zock. He's going to capture these two side bases for some of the first NGs, expanding into the field. Very similar for CrazedChariot. He's actually going out with an ACU and an NG. You're going to get a little bit of this mass expand here, and an NG coming to the other side. So you see basically two choke points two players have to go with, and a very symmetric base. This is really a 2v2 map, so two symmetric bases here that the fighters will have to play over. See the plan for Zock, quite a bit of T1 factories to spam. Actually, he just cancelled it, had a change of mind. We see some first shot. We see a mech marine getting snuck in by CrazedChariot. He's got to run into some mantis, however, before doing any damage. We see a mantis with one kill. He's going to try to claim this base for Zock. See some more raiders, some more mech marines, some hunters and mantis for Zock. He just spotted these raiders using the radar. And now the mantis versus mech marines. With no micro, the mantis win easily for Zock. And now we actually see a hunter snuck in for Zock. We can take out this NG, maybe take out a couple of these mass extractors. Absolutely no ground forces here from CrazedChariot. Now we finally see some tanks moving in, and we see Zock restarted his T1 factory spam. We also see similar things for CrazedChariot. So both players plan on making quite a few units. It appears this side base for CrazedChariot was just given away. Zock has taken nice control of both of his side bases. Now the next expansion is going to be to the other corners of the map. So all four mass extractors taken out. We see plans to rebuild it very quickly. And actually Zock retreats to reunite with another force, so building up more units before he engages. And quite a few strikers here from CrazedChariot. Don't see much fighting on the other side. Basically have a radar from Zock, maybe make some PD. On opposite of him you see the CrazedChariot ACU. He's not expanding yet. He built quite a few factories in this area, however. And then here we have the mantis from the very beginning. Not too much air fighting going on yet. Now we see this ground fight, and Zock retreats. We see Zock was pretty quick expanding to the side base. He's actually already claimed it for himself. Zock comes back. He's getting more units coming in. And now push from the other side from CrazedChariot. Now we see a drop from Zock. Some NG is going to claim this side base as well. So in terms of expansion, Zock being much more aggressive. And we see an NG from some NGs from CrazedChariot going into the middle, getting this mass. It's about 3,000 mass, just sitting there. You see the arties. I got it through for him. Nice move from CrazedChariot. Takes a little time and concentration to take these out, but it's totally worth it. And now we see Zock with a counterattack. Has pushed CrazedChariot back. So early on it looks like Zock definitely has really nice map control. We actually see already T3 air. This is minute 10 from CrazedChariot. Looks like he rushed. He's got 2 power generators. He probably has a little bit of power trouble at this point. He does. This is a very costly enterprise here. He's got a lot of engines that now he's gonna switch to building power before he builds the ASF. We do not see T3 air from Zock yet. He does have similar power numbers, however. A few T2 power generators. Now we might see a pretty big fight here. There's really no chance for Zock to win this because there's T1 PD protecting. But now we also see some T2 pillars from CrazedChariot, so Zock really needs to retreat. On the other side, it's pretty much just T1 standoff. Chariot might think about pushing around. Now you see the T2 factory here. Maybe doing a little raiding on Zock's side base. A lot of NGs reclaiming for Zock, as well as CrazedChariot. That's not surprising to see. So the middle has been completely controlled by CrazedChariot. That's really why he's still, even though he has given up so much of the map, he's still doing pretty well. But he really needs to capturing some of the map back. And now we might see a push, some T2. These pillars are going to give the advantage for CrazedChariot to take out this force from Zock. And the other side is just basically building up units for the upcoming fight. We see some scouting. We see actually a ASF fight at minute 13. Looks like Zock was able to get that ASF up quite quickly, but he has lost ASF to CrazedChariot. So air control should be exploited. Now we see some broadswords from CrazedChariot. They're going to move out into the field, do some killing. Now we see this T2 push from CrazedChariot. He continues to roll through. We see 2 T2 factories from Zock, but not too many ANGs around him. They probably won't be able to build quick enough to produce an army to counteract. And we see some more T1 units moving in, provide support. On the other side, we see Zock pushing up real close against CrazedChariot's base and a raiding broadsword. And now we see this T2 force is going to take over this side base from Zock, so they should at least kill all these mass extractors and factories. 7 kills on the broadsword so far. And really just a standoff. That's a lot of Mantis, and they really don't get better as the game goes on. With this, pillars are going to completely decimate them. And now we see some units from Zock moving into the middle. Now he's going to find out that all the mass is gone. Really 15 minutes is quite late for this. It appears that CrazedChariot has moved his units through without taking out these factories, so that's just going to leave a lot of units wrecks to reclaim. See, these pillars have a lot of kills. 10, 11, 6, 15. Pretty effective against T1. And now we see a second force. Actually, we see forces on both sides from CrazedChariot moving up. And another ASF fight. See 20 kills on the broadsword already, but it looks like the ASF could be lost to Zock at this point. Now we're going to see this T2 force coming up against some T1 PD. This is really not good from CrazedChariot. These PDs are going to get a lot of kills. And not clear why this side base is still alive. And now it looks like the ASF is going to be won. We see actually Zock using stealth on his ASF, giving his Cyber planes just a little bit of an advantage. It's really a good T2 push from CrazedChariot. The pillars have won a lot of the map for him. He does have NGs following all these wrecks. If we look at minute 17, CrazedChariot has already reclaimed 34,000 mass, and Zock 28,000. So both players doing a lot of reclaiming. A lot of that reclaim came from rocks, however. Now we see some retreating units from Zock. These are wangers. These are actually amphibious, but people like to use them anyway. Really good in close range. We do see some whalers from Zock. Looks like he has one airback. We don't see the broadsword anymore, so he can use these T3 gunships from Cyber to take some of these land back. See T3 coming out for CrazedChariot, we see some Titans. Actually a nice T2 force which should have never been built. Should be not much trouble against these Titans, however. And now we see the T2 force from CrazedChariot doing no damage, just dying and leaving wrecks for Zock to reclaim. On the other side we're going to see some Mantis take care of some Engies. Nice to see the Engies first build the radar so they're going to see these and not run into them. And I'll see some of these units come in and claim the side base for CrazedChariot. It's a nice T2 force from Zock. We see Engies being airlifted to these Mantis. And now the Titans are going to start engaging these T2 and these mass extractors. Interesting to see this T2 from Zock just ran into some T3 and get easily killed. And now CrazedChariot might move up and try to kill off this base. Gonna see another ASF fight. This time it looks like it's gonna be very close, but maybe a little bit of numbers for CrazedChariot. Simultaneously there is a push, a T2 push from Zock. You may think about taking out this base from CrazedChariot. On the other side we see some PDs. They're getting taken out from Zock with some arty. The side base 1 for CrazedChariot. Of course, a massive force from Zock can take care of things. And now we see a whaler only with 1 kill taking on T3. Some pretty big kills for this whaler is just going to get taken out by ASF. And actually T2 winning against T3 here for Zock. However, a side base and T2 factory is lost against this force from Zock. You see the Titans moving through. So pretty crazy. We got a lot of different things happening on different parts of the map. Still we see a lot of the map belongs to Zock. Only thing that's left for CrazedChariot is main base on the side. Should give it a lot of Engies in here. For both players, they can reclaim a lot of mass. I see another Engie drop from Zock. So this T1, T2 force running into some broadswords. Gonna get a lot of kills. So at this point, pretty much air domination over his own base for CrazedChariot. And use broadswords. And these Titans moving through killed a lot of units for CrazedChariot. This will be a hard place for Zock to take. A lot of T3 in this area, but these T2 and T1 are going to kill some of these Engies. Hit the build capacity, see 20 kills for each of these broadswords. Should get some Engies in here, reclaim some mass. Tragic, this whaler is going to take out the Titan. Might see another ASF fight. And then CrazedChariot changes his mind. He's got to expand back. See some Engies here trying to not get caught, but now I see probably some radar. They've been spotted and going to get taken out by T2. Titans continue to get killed by these whalers. An ASF fight trying to prevent this. Looks like numbers are once again for CrazedChariot here. See both players trying to rebuild at this point. It's minute 25. Just saw a lot of units on this map go away. So 30 kills for each one of these broadswords. See a scout from Zock. He's getting some T3 power up. See a lot of T2 power still from CrazedChariot. And now we might see a total air domination from CrazedChariot. He's actually going directly over Zock's base and preventing any more drops. This nice T2 force of hangers, preventing Engies from reclaiming absolutely no units on the side base. This base switcher should have been killed a long time ago, still belongs to Zock. Now we see T1 PDs versus Titans. Without micro, it's kind of tragic. So almost 40 kills each for these broadswords. See a lot of NGs on this air factory. Really, for both players, ASF has been the main thing. We see an anti-nuke from Zock. Started in minute 26. Strange, given that not even T3 power from CrazedChariot. It's being very defensive. Now we see actually a giant ghetto from CrazedChariot. Actually, it's not a ghetto, it's just a T2 transport full of NGs. He's got his own guns. Now the broadswords will take care of things. Very strange here. We see a whole bunch of Titans afraid of some T2. And now we see CrazedChariot preventing any more ASF from being built. As soon as they come out, they get killed. Of course, he is losing ASF as he's doing this patrol. Should be some. We see some T3 AA being built by Zock, and that will cause CrazedChariot to move away. You see an NG from CrazedChariot getting some of these middle mass extractors. No reason to neglect these. If we look at reclamation numbers, minute 28, 50,000 for CrazedChariot, 64 for Zock. So massive. So 2 experimentals each, just in terms of how much these two players reclaimed. Now an assassination attempt against these broadswords by a single ASF is snuffed out. So we see almost 50 kills each. Actually some great raiding. You see a loyalist T3 Cybern coming into the middle. No reason to let CrazedChariot have these. Still a standoff on the top side. Very nice force of broadswords. We're going to see 5 instead of 2. And the ASF from CrazedChariot preventing any more ASF being built. So now together the broadswords and the Titans should take care of things. Maybe finally take out this base. We see a lot of T2 flag being built by Zock. This is the counter to these broadswords. But it shouldn't be enough. We might see one of these broadswords get killed. Actually, maybe multiple. No, just one broadsword is lost. You see Zock almost finished with the anti-nuke. He's got T3 power, actually 2 T3 powers. So in terms of power, he should have a huge advantage. He's got plus 8,000. CrazedChariot is plus 4. This really gives Zock a lot of opportunities. You see, in terms of mass, both players have plenty. Interesting that we don't see any experimentals on the field at 30 minutes yet. Should see fat boys being built. However, it could be that CrazedChariot wants to use his air advantage at this point just to win the whole map. But he won't be able to do much against Zock's base directly, given all this anti-air. Should see some T2 flak, however. See this loyalist with 11 kills causing a lot of problems. Actually, multiple loyalists. And nice to see a drop from a CrazedChariot. He's going to take this base. Get a lot of mass as well from reclaim. And Zock in the middle of all this fighting has taken the middle back. See a lot of T2 flag here. It's a counter to all these. These gunships have a lot of kills, 60 each for 2 of them. And now they should avoid this flag. The loyalists successfully take out the side base from CrazedChariot. It's inexcusable, given all these gunships. A nice T3 force from CrazedChariot, thinking about what he's going to do next. If he can move in, take out the flag, and have the broadsword support. You see some loyalists. That should be pretty one-sided. These loyalists are doing pretty good. And now in the middle we see taking back the land for CrazedChariot. There's been a couple switches of ownership here. And now the situation is really reversed. Zock had most of the map now. CrazedChariot should have most of the map controlled. And really the only place for Zock is his own base. He's doing a nice spam of loyalists, or these are bricks. They're excellent versus ground. Quite a few losses here for CrazedChariot. A lot of mass here to reclaim. And CrazedChariot is going to run away as soon as he saw those bricks. No reason to throw away the units. An attempt to rebuild from Zock is going to get taken out by these Titans. A T3 NG from Zock is running away. It's going to get taken out. And now we see a fatty almost finished, missed minute 36. We see some T3 power from CrazedChariot, so he realized that just having air control over most of the map won't win it for him. Actually, that's the second fatty. Now we see the first one's already on its way. It's going to be very difficult to counteract the fatty by Zock. He's got to get his own experimentals. We see the Titans coming in around. I'll run into some T2 PD. Zock's going to come out and try to overcharge some of these. He might lose a T3 power generator, T3 mask striker. Won't even do that. He's going to attack the less protected part of the base. Fatty's just sitting there thinking about it. Should push forward a little bit. Looks like he's gonna wait for his for the support. Move in with two fatties. It's minute 38. You see the reclaim 81 for Zock, 62 for CrazedChariot. He's got plus 200 and he's got 8,000 in the bank. Also pretty nice eco for Zock as well. Yeah, an anti-nuke for Zock, almost halfway done with the anti-missile. Strange, given absolutely no nukes from CrazedChariot. See a lot of T2 transports from CrazedChariot. Not clear what he's going to transport. He could try to drop something in behind Zock's base, but he already saw that all these dead units that just walked on land. And now we see this fatty. I'll take out these loyalists. The bricks. So these bricks are not going to run away from the fatty. They're actually going to move toward it. See a lot of shields supporting. So total air control and an experimental moving forward for CrazedChariot. And now he's actually going to retreat against these bricks. It's a proper thing to do, given you got some support coming. Now we see some spiders being built by Zock, so very quickly build spider. Looks like Zock is upgrading his ACU. And on the other side, a nice Titan force. Prevent any expansion. See these loyalists from Zock looking to raid. And obviously the broadswords working very well with the fatty. 65, 66 kills. Killing off the bricks. Nice chunks of mass. Still a single loyalist preventing expansion into this bottom base for CrazedChariot. See a spider built 41 minutes for Zock. A single spider versus two fatties is not a good situation. These Titans are going to take out yet another T3 NG. See two fatties going to roll through this T2 PD. They might not know the spider is there. The spider is going to use its stealth. It's going to try to get close. Now they're beginning to move back. Looks like there's a power surge from CrazedChariot. Just all the shields go down. A lot of T2 flak. Not clear why these fatties have just turned back. Because two of them could take out a... Oh, now we see snipes. This is excellent. This is some cruise missiles being built in the middle by CrazedChariot. Looks like he's going to be methodical with it. This is pretty painful. Obviously a nice force directly behind Zock's base. Still raiding with loyalists, however. So loyalists on either side of the map preventing expansion. And the snipes keep on coming, these T3 mass extractors. Getting taken out, so that's destroying the economy of Zock pretty effectively. However, quite a few wrecks for Zock, so he shouldn't have too much mass trouble. Still has only plus 36, but 2,000 in the bank. Anytime he needs some mass, he can just reclaim some. Not clear where these fatties are just standing there. They should be putting pressure. If Zock is able to get another experimental up, he could try to counter these, to sneak up on them. See some tactical missile defense being built by Zock to prevent the situation from happening again. Now we'll see the loyalists, actually yeah, some bricks and loyalists against Titans. Some more nice mass chunks to reclaim for Zock. And now the fatties are finally moving in. It's a lot of flak and a spider. This is crazy. A brick just gets sent to take out these cruise missiles. It's pretty awesome. Now the brick is going to get shot by the fatties. The spider is moving in underneath the shots of the fatty. And another power surge. Really, fatties need these shields to have any kind of health. And massive power surges from CrazedChariot, so one fatty gets taken out. If this spider build that kills two fatties, I see these broadswords, 66 killed broadsword, both fatties killed. Spider's going to retreat. Very tragic for CrazedChariot. Now we see another drop. That's just going to get killed immediately by this loyalist. And on the other side it looks like CrazedChariot was able to take the side base. And another force of Titans moving through. However, quite a few bricks and loyalists for Zock who should take care of this force. So two fatties was not enough to kill Zock for CrazedChariot in this one. Other broadswords are going to look for this loyalist. It's actually a nice placement of these T3 power generators. If Zock would have lost those to tactical missiles, it would have been bad, but they're right behind this wall, so you can't hit them with a missile. As well as this missile defense, already 3 anti-nicks. Zock looks like he is going to be spamming bricks. The UF does have a nice counter to bricks for the Perseus. Now it looks like more fatties being built by CrazedChariot. A lot of flak from Zock. And I saw that Titan Force just disappear versus these bricks. That brick that took out the cruise missiles in the middle looks like he's going to take out the side base. All the gunships from CrazedChariot is going to try to catch up to it. So no attempt to make T3 air for a long time from Zock. They might start thinking about it again. So we're a minute 50 now of the game. You can see 123,000 mass reclaimed for Zock. He's got plus 169. And only 64 reclaimed for CrazedChariot. It's a very big difference. Could be because CrazedChariot did lose a lot of T3 while attacking, and Zock still has a whole bunch of T3 chunks of mass in his base that he can have. And you see a lot of T3 fights in the back of Zock's base. So really the moral there, if you're going to attack with T3, you've got to kill your opponent. Can't lose. It looks like this side base, some T1 PD from CrazedChariot, but bricks and loyalists moving through. See drops. This appears to be a Percy drop. So 2 T3 transports from CrazedChariot full of Percys. Actually 3. Nice force, nice T3 force from Cybern moving to the middle. We see these transports on the side. We see a little bit of a ASF from Zock, and it looks like he just saw those. This is just ridiculous if you're supposed to lose those. The element of surprise is lost, but he almost lost his transport. Now he's going to get these back. Be scary to put your units on this transport right here, but it looks like CrazedChariot is going to do it. 300 health for 4 Percys. Don't want to fly over this flak, and it looks like CrazedChariot is going to. Okay, so now we have ASF moving through. Now the shield is back for that transport. Another Percys are dropped off. These are excellent units from UEF. See how much damage they can do against Zock's base. Only some bricks in T2. A lot of health, so very strong shots from these units. You see a spider coming in from Zock. Some loyalists. Actually, this spider is going to take care of business. Be very close. It's a spider just in time for Zock. A nice attempt from CrazedChariot though. And this will be a lot of master reclaim. In the middle now belongs to Zock. In terms of map control, it's very even. But now it looks like Zock is moving through. He's got a lot of flak along with a single brick. See a lot of T1 PD from CrazedChariot in the side base. Still air control from CrazedChariot, but a lot of flak from Zock. We should be hitting unit limit for both of these players. So at 400 units for Zock, 360 for CrazedChariot. Now I see a fatty moving in, actually 2 fatties from CrazedChariot moving to the bottom base. And on the tops here we see loyalists and a brick. We're going to take on T1 PDs. Now we already see 5 and 6 being built, but we do see range on this brick. If these move in, they're going to get some losses. So it was probably a mistake. You should have just used the range on this brick instead of moving in. It's nice PDs from CrazedChariot. Those power surges really killed those fatties. It was tragic. CrazedChariot, a few more power generators. That's what he's doing. Now we see a nuke, a very late nuke from CrazedChariot. Of course, we know. Well, I guess that's one thing that happened that I didn't notice. Those Percys took out the anti-nuke from Zock. Of course, Zock is working on a new anti-nuke. Is halfway with the anti-missile. So if CrazedChariot already had the nuke built and moved in with those Percys, it would have been a great move. But at this point, it looks like Zock will be able to get this anti-nuke done in time. Now we see the two fatties expanding once more. Interesting to see neither player has gone after this mass, about 2,000 mass in each one of these wrecks. See a spider bot on the other side, about 12,000 health. Bad place to fly over. Now we see some Strat bombers versus flak. I guess you can do that. It's the first time we saw Strat bombers in this game, minute 58. Very effective units. Usually don't see them going against flak, however. Now I see the ASF from Zock are going to take out these strats, but all the flak here is gone. It's actually nice, so now CrazedChariot can't fight this ASF without worrying about all that flak killing his ASF. Now that spider died very quickly against these Percys. Really want to micro which units these Percys shoot. They don't want to shoot the same unit. Now the other side we see a spider bot, two fatties. And a single Percy in the middle. He's gonna just killed off a loyalist. He's gonna kill some flak. So we just saw how Percys dominate T3 for UEF. Now that spider is no longer effective against these fatties with these Percys protecting the fatties. Very bad place to put your T3 power generators, almost in range of these fat boys. And now we see a brick versus Percys. Percys win that battle. And now here come the fatties against the side base from Zock. You see all this flak has to retreat. See another spider bot built by Zock. Another one on the way. Nuke almost done for CrazedChariot. He appears to be spamming Strat bombers. Obviously a spider bot is going to try to counteract these two fatties. Really too late to save the side base. Now we see Strat bombers taking out single units. Finally Zock decides to try to get this mass, but too late. There is still a lot of mass to reclaim for him on the side here. Now actually Strat bombers getting taken out by ASF once again. This fatty's very methodical. So second spider bot is done. The third one's on the way. Now it looks like a nice force of Percys are in front of these. It will take multiple spider bots to break through this. Maybe a megalith from Zock would be the way to go. Or a nice set of cruise missiles so you can try to snipe those fatties. Now a single nuke is loaded for CrazedChariot. Looks like he's upgrading his ACU, perhaps getting a shield on it. And we'll see a nice spam of broadswords. Zock doing very well with without having air control taking out unprotected air units from CrazedChariot. See an opportunistic NG took quite a few of these mass spots. See a force of 3 spider bots from Zock. Now it looks like they're moving in. It's a whole bunch of bricks and spiders versus a force of fatties and Perseus. And the fatties are retreating. This is pretty awesome. Now the bricks are trailing. This is really where you want them. It's nice placement of the spider behind this wall, behind this mountain. Gonna try to flank these fatties, but it will not happen. A lot of ASF lost for CrazedChariot. Looks like he used his Air Force to spot. All the Perseus are dead. Those fatties are basically still untouched, and they should be able to survive this. Oh, this is amazing. If a single fatty survives, it should be able to take on these bricks. It's a very tough battle. That gives Zock a little more time. Actually gives him a whole bunch of mastery claim. So what do you do when you have a nice force of Perseus and fatties standing outside your base firing in? You got a whole bunch of spider bots and bricks, and it works. See another fatty coming out, and another third fatty being built by CrazedChariot. Some more Titans on the side base, and a nice ASF force being built by Zock. We did see a lot of ASF lost from CrazedChariot in this last battle to flak. And now the spider bot's moving sideways. Looks like a quiet time here, about 1 hour 10 minutes. See 2 nukes loaded for CrazedChariot. The anti-nuke already has 3 anti-nukes for Zock. If we look at eco numbers, 200,000 reclaimed for Zock. He's got plus 400 at this point. Looks like he's reclaiming something. Plus 15,000 power. Plus 300 for CrazedChariot. He's only reclaimed 73,000. A nice Titan force moving in. You gotta run into some bricks. And a spider bot, so these Titans were probably a little crazy. It's a nice force, 2 spider bots, a lot of flak. 2 fatties and Perseus across from them. Still unclaimed wrecks. And a spider bot on the side just in case something crazy happens through the top. So Zock looks like he's hitting his ASF production, putting a lot of eco into it. We do see a lot of Strat bombers here. Well, 4 Strat bombers. You could try to snipe this anti-nuke. Only a 1 shield sort of halfway protecting it. If Zock loses his anti-nuke with these nukes loaded for CrazedChariot, it's basically game over for Zock. Obviously 4 spider bots from Zock and 3 fatties from CrazedChariot and a whole bunch of Perseus. We also see some T3PD and a lot of build capacity put in this area for CrazedChariot. He's thinking he's going to take on a massive force. Now we see 5 spider bots. He will need a lot of T3 PD. That's really the counter for experimentals for UEF. Of course, 3 fatties should be a lot of firepower in all these Percies. Actually, it's a bad idea that Zock realized he probably shouldn't do this after losing a single monkey. And now we see Zock moving through, getting some of these wrecks. There was a sign of weakness from Zock, however, and now it looks like CrazedChariot will move forward, and this will give him a little more time to build some more Ravagers. A really nice ASF force from Zock. This minute 75. So nice force of strats, 5 strats. Looks like another ASF factory is being built by CrazedChariot. It's got quite a few T3 power generators. We can see something that will look like a megalith spam from Zock. That will take a lot of mass. Looks like once again more of the map is controlled by Zock. See how both of the side bases. We see bricks moving through, but without air control. This might cause a ASF battle, and it's not clear who has more at this point. It looks like Zock is using his... Yeah, we will see this ASF battle. And Zock just might have the numbers, but no, he does not. A very decisive win for CrazedChariot, and that means he will be able to use his gunships, which he just did to kill off the spider bot. So nice plan, but these bricks moving on the side. And now we just saw a nuke. A nuke from Zock. I didn't even see him build it, but he did. No anti-nuke from CrazedChariot. This is just ridiculous. An anti-nuke from Zock. That was the difference. An hour 20 minutes, no anti-nuke from CrazedChariot, which means he has just lost his entire base and has been defeated. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is a pretty crazy fight.